This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 2 into a very new to me and fun game mode called Blitz, which is created by the guy who is actually hosting this stream, which is MrCashGames, aka Ivor. Check out his stream if you're interested in Red Alert 2, although there's a good chance you already know about it. I'll put his links in the description. Big thanks to him for inviting me to these show matches. It was a ton of fun. Well, you'll see. We'll just get into it right now.
Okay, so here we go. Blitz World Series action coming at you guys here in the Pro Division. We got Legend in yellow fighting out of Jordan on the right. We got Marko, the GOAT himself, in red fighting out of Finland on the left. And we got Sybert in the booth with us. Big Command & Conquer caster. He's on YouTube. I'll drop that link in the chat for you guys. Sybert, the first time seeing Blitz. What are you seeing right away on this small map? What's standing out to you?
If I remember correctly, you build oil derricks instead of refineries and miners?
Yep, and so that's the biggest thing. So
yeah, that's like the number one.
Yep, the oil instead of ore, that's the biggest thing. So there's no harvesters, so you're just building those oil derricks, and that's how you manage your economy, and then obviously the map being smaller. And other than that, things just end up kind of being a little bit quicker. As you can see, these guys already going at each other. Now on this bottom side, you can't build off those tech buildings. So there's no sentry guns, there's no defensive structures, so you see a lot of early action down here in the bottom middle, and on this particular map. You can see that first battle already commencing.
Straight into Rhino tanks and dogs, so even though this is Blitz, this is still looking like a very straightforward Red Alert 2 1v1.
Yep, that's absolutely right. And that was a big part of the mod, is making something that was going to be applicable, that was easy to kind of transfer over your skill set that players already had. Not trying to reinvent the wheel here, just trying to compact things and create a little bit more of a spectator-friendly sport, a little more faster action. But dogs and rhinos, that's still the meta that you know. Still the meta that stands.
Tech power plant goes down. Nicely done there by Marko. The first strike, I mean, other than the scouting dogs, which were taken down earlier, but the first strike done.
Yep, and that first hit, that makes a difference here. It throws off the build order, it puts him low power, and Soviet versus Soviet at the top level, you're talking about every single rhino counting. And Legend going low power there for a second can put him behind. Now a split, top side and bottom.
Two sets of engagement. Sentry gun gets dropped on the north side, and Legend going to be getting pushed back on the south side. Going for the tech up on the top side, but ultimately, Legend just falls back. Kind of a bit of a wash.
Yep, wasn't able to get too much done there. Wasn't able to get too much done. These guys at the top level, the way how quickly they match each other on these splits is just so impressive. And now a little bit of a fodder advantage for Marko. More dogs in play, but Legend just keep trying to pick at that machine shop on the top side. That's a pretty strong building. It's hard to get that on an in and out mission like that.
Legend losing that tech power plant, but unable to kind of even the score. Marko has just been a little bit too careful.
Yeah, and that's a little bit what you expect here. Marko, like we talked about before, there's a reason we call him the GOAT. He's a 3-time champion, won the last few months, actually lost last month in our monthly tournament, but one of the best Blitz players in the world, and Legend already a little bit on his heels here. Now that forward barracks from Legend, I like that, pumping the dogs right on the front lines, but Marko has that forward war factory on the top side, getting those reinforcements right into the battle.
Oh, crates in the middle of the map. Yeah. I did not realize that did not happen in the games that I observed the other day. Looks like Marko gets all 4 of them.
All 4 crates. Those are the Easter eggs for you, Sybert. We're keeping you on your toes around here. So those crates give their money and speed crates, or money and or speed crates. So they're just kind of a minor little boost, just kind of something to incentivize map control and aggression, but nothing too tilting here.
Legend gonna jump on the north side of the map. Desolator's getting mixed in here as well. Goes for the war factory and pops it, but that's gonna be all he gets on the north side. It's more about the fight on the south side as they're trading tank for tank. And Marko may be a bit slow to respond to that. Will lose his tech power plant.
Yep, and very nice from Legend. Gets the tech power plant, and on the top side got the war factory, but Legend losing a lot of tanks right now. This counterpunch from Marko could be tough on the bottom side. Legend with the Desolators to try to hold this position.
Oh, tanks trying to skirt around the outside, barely avoiding most of the radiation there. And the Desolators not the defense that Legend hoped they would be.
Yep, yeah, he was really kind of relying on that. You saw him, mid-game as he started to, yep, and he's gonna quit out. We got it in here. So this is point number 2. Marko picking up that first one, Soviet versus Soviet. Now going over to Allied versus Allied. And so this is where things get a little bit weird, because like you mentioned, traditional Red Alert 2 meta is very Soviet heavy, very Soviet dominant. Both Marko and Legend are traditionally Soviet players. And Allied does play a little weird having these extra faction bonuses, and you can see the GIs opening early on. The map's not so big, so your infantry are a little bit more viable early game. So GIs from Marko, let's see how this plays out.
Are they going to be the same split left versus right? Rocketeer comes out.
It does. The left and right side is random.
Okay, so it just happened that Marko got left twice in a row. Okay.
Yep.
I mean,
so
Legend, in that last game, Legend certainly felt competitive, so it doesn't feel like in a 5-game series it should be a 3-0. I mean, right out of the gate, a couple of machine shop hits might be happening, but at the same time, Tech Power Plant in the south taking a bit of damage on the Legend side.
Yeah, and that power plant, and Marko gunning for that, getting it again, and does get that power plant again, and that's tough. Puts you low power, throws off your build, slows down everything, and moving into the mid game, you just kind of feel yourself slightly behind your opponent after that. The Rocky counter was nice from Legend, just wasn't enough. Couldn't get it good done, and again denies that machine shop as well. So Legend not getting much value here.
Yeah, I really thought Legend was going to be able to clean up the machine shop in the north, but he was not. A couple of pillboxes do get deployed. Rockies still popping in and out, and the Black Eagles making their appearance a moment ago. First paradrop coming in from Legend as well.
Yeah, the early AFC opening, so very different styles here. Obviously, Legend going with the Rockies, the Eagles, and he gets the early paradrop with that. Marko just going kind of heavy Grizzlies here, but now with that paradrop, finally Legend gets the machine shop. He's been trying all series, finally gets that machine shop. Nice. Okay.
Second time lucky. A couple of Grizzlies still left over. Legend is not going to be able to do much more than that. Black Eagles getting popped one at a time on the Legend side of things. He does manage to get off the deck, but now this guy's got nowhere to land.
Yep, and so now he has to try to hover his... Oh, not able to hover the Eagles. And the AVA matchup here, Allied versus Allied, is always very, very tough. Whoever gets that first hit with their Eagles to take the other player's Eagles can be very, very tough to recover from. Legend with a bit of a tank advantage, slightly on the bottom side with the Rockies, but Eagles are going to be very problematic. Legend's going to really struggle to get the that AFC up now.
Marko doing some damage early, Legend striking back, but he still hasn't got that tech power plant. Legend really hoping to kill 2 tech structures, but he's only been able to get the 1.
Yeah, he really wanted to get that machine shop, and that machine shop is going to residually repair all of the tanks on the field, so it's pretty nice. It is a pretty good hit for Legend, but this being behind. So now you see Legend goes 2 AFCs here. So if one gets bombed, he can keep another up. But Legend is going to have to try to get some offensive value here if he wants to carry himself with momentum into the mid game.
Crates were grabbed. Legend getting perhaps the better side or the worse side. He got unit speed. A couple of power plants in the north getting attacked by the Rockies of Marko.
Yep. And Legend has this Rocky advantage, but you see Marko tucked in with quite a bit of anti-air here. Going to be hard to get offensive value out of those Rockies. Could maybe try to pick on that power plant, though.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's hoping to do. Posturing near the south, looking to put on some pressure, going for the tech power plant once again. At the same time, Black Eagles coming in. They get everything on the deck almost.
Ooh, yep. Takes the AFC, takes a bunch of Eagles with it. Yep, very nice. The engagement continues on the bottom here. Now Marko in with his own Rockies to counter, and Legend going to bring some IFVs over to try to hold off these Rockies, try to get an advantage here. That power plant finally goes down.
Finally, Legend has completed this circuit, hitting both tech structures in the north and the south. And, well, I guess that's good for him.
Yeah, it should. He's getting a little bit of value here, and the Eagles staying busy. Both players with the Eagles, and you see both players just continuously building the AFCs. The AFC is really kind of the juicer in the AVA matchup, just because of the tech tree that it allows. If you don't have that AFC, you can't keep building up your tech. You can't get your rockets. You can't get your paradrop. So both players really trying to keep those alive. Paradrop top left completely denied.
Yeah, the attempt by Legend to break the front of Marko, and it just doesn't quite work. Ooh. Once again, the Eagles just trading sides as to who's actually in control with the Eagles.
Yep, hard for either player to really get a leg up. And on these small maps like this, the Eagles, even if you have anti-air, they can usually get in and hit their target. The key is to make your opponent pay the toll. Even if they get their target, you've got to make sure you hit all the Eagles before they get back. The Eagles are expensive, they're slow to build, so if you can slow them down, it's pretty nice. So you see they're all, Legend having to pay all of his Eagles for it. Oh, but Marko's Eagles crashed because he lost the AFC. Eagle Wars here in AVA.
Yeah.
Yep.
Paradrop in the north. Marko might be able to make something happen. There is a little bit of lack of static D in the north, so we'll see if the Rockies are fast enough. It's going to be a rocky war between Legend and Marko.
Yep, and Marko, ooh, I didn't realize this. Marko quite a bit ahead on Grizzlies here. Legend needs to be pretty careful in this position. Yeah, Legend just getting behind here. So you see Marko has twice as many war factories right now, so the Grizzlies pumping twice as fast compared to Legend's 2. The Legend with good unit control here is staying in this fight, but tricky situation here for Legend.
He at least stopped the Grizzlies from just running by and going for, I assume, the MCV, but the numbers don't lie, and, well, Marko does still have the tank advantage. Maybe Legend is going to be able to pull something out here, but he's going to take some damage before he stops the bleeding.
Going to be very, very tough. Yeah, could have tried to use the Eagles defensively. He tried to take an offensive hit downfield. Yeah, just in quits out. Yep.
GG.
And yep, it was Legend hanging in there more in that AVA, but yeah, Marko, well, like I said, Marko, one of the best players for a reason. We will see now Allied versus Soviet, so Legend, the loser, is going to choose. He's going to go Soviet here. Now, on the Pro Division, it's fairly been players saying that this map is kind of Soviet favored. There's a lot of openings. It's hard for the Allied player to kind of turtle in. We'll see if Legend can give us a series here. There's, hate to see a blowout, but at the same time, Marko's kind of a work of art watching him dismantle a player that's as high level as Legend, but we'll see what we can get here.
In a best of 5, we are already at the ace match, and the 2-0 of the score definitely does not describe how this series has felt. It's felt much closer than a 2-0, but I guess we'll see. There's a north-south split already happening, so the machine shop going to be under fire for Marko. Meanwhile, the tech power plant going to be under fire for Legend, who gets the kill first.
Yep. And it looks like, and this is what the Soviet player wants. The Soviet player wants to be aggressive early on and wants to get value. So the machine shop, and Marko heads straight downfield. Oh, and Legend gets backdoored.
He's just going for it. The MCV down at half health. Conscript's going to be left on the opposite side of the map, but the Rhino's going to be returning home, and barely barely. Marko inches away from a 3-0.
Marko says F you in the chat. Oh my god. Wow.
So incredibly close. Legend loses his tech power plant but maintains his machine shop, and Marko is the reverse, loses the machine shop but keeps his power plant. Rhinos clear out every single Grizzly. A couple of Black Eagles are here, but that's the GG. Game number 4, finally, game number 3, finally going to Legend.
Legend puts one on the board for us, going to give us a match, and that's just on a razor edge there. I mean, one more shell from that Grizzly tank. Legend would have been out in MCV. Marko definitely gonna be more comfortable in this matchup, but Legend's kind of like I said, top level player as well, top 5 in the world. So we'll see what he can bring here. He's gonna open those GIs, try to get some value early on. It's critical for the Allied player to get some value with those GIs.
So now that we're in game number 4, we're on match point. What do they win?
Yeah, so this is so the Pro Division. So we have the Pro Division. There's 12 pros. They play throughout the month, just kind of random games against each other, kind of round robin, and it's just $10 per win. And then the top 4 go on to a little finals at the end of the month for the championship, which ends up being like $50 or $60.
Okay, so this is a little bit money today and a little bit money tomorrow if you do well. Yeah. Pressure in the north from Legend. These GIs getting a bit of damage done. The Grizzly as well on that machine shop.
And Marko just doesn't want to push into those GIs. These GIs do so much damage early on. There's some good counters to them if you can get a Desolator out, but spamming the sentry guns and kind of just sitting back, just doesn't want to make a mistake here. And lets Legend go into his tanks like that, gets him ran over. So now, we'll see. Now Legend does have to pull back a bit.
Legend with the early strike right away. I guess the machine shop does that repair in battle or only out of battle?
Yeah, it's residual all the time on all your tanks. Yeah,
so that makes every Grizzly fight against a Rhino a little bit better for Legend.
Yep. Yeah, it's a pretty critical building. We haven't seen players favoring it this much, just because the power and the oil on the bottom tend to be, well, I don't know. Like, I'm not one to question a player as good as Legend, but generally you see the focus on the bottom. But the machine shop certainly has value.
I can definitely understand when you got the worst tanks wanting to go for that machine shop. Power plant is going to go down. Marko gets that kill in the south, but the MCB is getting targeted down, and Legend will secure the kill. He's going for the 2-2. He's going for game number 5.
Oh my God, he takes the War Factory too, but can he hold off this counter punch? He puts up a prison tower. He's now gonna spam infantry here. It's so many rhinos though. It's so many rhinos, and he's low power. Oh no, the counter punch.
Sometimes you do enough damage, and sometimes the other guy still has like 5 rhinos and can win the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, 5 rhinos is enough to do that. Yep.
Wow, so Legend not going to get his game 5 quite possibly. He did get a second barracks, gets an additional Prism Tower as well. Thin on the tank, so it's just going to be conscripts and Tesla Troopers. 4 rhinos do remain. 20 seconds until those crates spawn in the middle.
Yep, crates out now. Okay. So Marko, oh my God, and now Legend, oh my God, Legend might, so Legend needs to, Legend just spamming the barracks right now, just gonna turtle in. He knows that time is on his side. Marko's in the pressure cooker right now. Marko has to make, Marko quits out.
GG, and we go to game 5.
Wow, here we come, match point, Sov versus Sov. Sybert, how are you feeling? You think Legend can carry the momentum through here?
After game number 2, I was not a believer in Legend. Games 3 and 4, I am a believer in Legend. Now, honestly, I have no idea. I would have said Marko is going to take this easy, but, like, it really does feel 50-50. Marko, I assume, has the advantage in a Sov v Sov, but we'll see.
Yep. If it was regular Red Alert 2, everyone would be on Marko, voting for Marko. But in Blitz, there's these random little things that both players are a little bit less familiar with. I think Legend really showing his ability to play Blitz in the last 2 points, you know, using his infantry, having kind of some of these wacky openings. And again, we're going to see him opening heavy conscripts here, going to blow through those 2 sentry guns.
Yeah, Marko is going full north side, which is very different from what we saw in game number 1. Also, for the first time, Marko and Legend have swapped
I said that
sides.
I said that, yeah, they got me on the swap. I thought that was Legend pushing the conscripts. Sorry, Marko pushing the conscripts top side. Okay.
4 games in a row, they're left versus right, and now they swap, and it's right versus left, but...
Yeah. Yep, just keeping us on our toes. Okay, so both players with conscript fodder in front. The sentry gun advantage, though, for Legend here. Marko needs to be careful pushing into these sentry guns.
Marko is not going to get the tech machine shop at this point. He's going to have to wait. If he wants to get it, he's going to have to come back later.
Yep. He has pulling back now. Yeah, doesn't like his odds going into those sentry guns, so now just regrouping a little bit here. And in these early engagements, the question is, who was on their macro faster? Who was on the back end placing their buildings while they were fighting? And if you see here now, Marko has a War Factory advantage. That War Factory advantage will give him a slight Rhino advantage as we move into this early mid-game.
War Factory and an Oil Derrick advantage. One up on both fronts.
Yep. Yeah, so that's gonna be tough. So now we do see the action shift towards the bottom.
Still the potential of some north side action later in the game, but right now it's all about that tech power plant, which gets instantly deleted, and Legend is gonna have to make a decision to either go for it, or he's just gonna trade tank against tank, which is good for Marko.
Oh, and Legend goes in, and that's tough. And
Lucky.
Legend says lucky, and Marko really, proving his ability there, pushing into that, grabbing the building, then clicking down the enemy tanks without lose. I mean, it was just beautiful unit control there, and Marko pulling ahead, and that's match point. Marko takes it.
Smashes through in game number 5. Once again, a big thanks to Ivor, aka RE2CashGames, who does a lot of Red Alert 2 streaming, and also he has a YouTube channel where he uploads some of the VODs. Check out that stuff if you're interested in Red Alert 2. Big thanks to him once again, and this is Sybert, signing out.